Making headlines this summer, Maldives celebrates Eid al-Adha with various festivities across islands and the capital, Greater Malé region. Chief Government spokesperson Mohammed Hussein Sharif says the Maldives could double its fish exports to the United Kingdom due to the UK's tariff suspension on the Maldives fish products. The Maldives Sovereign Development Fund has accumulated $59.86 million in the first 5.5 months of 2026.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. Now the news in detail. Eid al-Adha prayers is held in large congregations across the atolls and the Greater Malé region.
In recent years, both Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha prayers have been conducted in large congregational gatherings throughout all inhabited islands of the Maldives. This year's Eid al-Adha prayers in Malé, Wili Malé and Hulu Malé were also held as large congregations. In the Greater Malé area, the prayers took place at four main venues: the Mahfano Stadium area in Malé, the Wili Malé football ground, the synthetic track in Hulu Malé Phase 1, and the sports arena in Hulu Malé Phase 2. While arrangements have been made for large congregational prayers at these venues, Eid prayers were also held at 25 mosques in addition to the main gathering sites. This includes 17 mosques in Malé, 7 mosques in Hulu Malé, and 1 mosque in Wili Malé. Large number of worshippers attended the Eid prayers both in Malé and across the atolls. Speaking to PSM News, many participants extended Eid greetings and well wishes to their families and friends. In recent years, as Eid prayers have increasingly been held in large congregations, it has also become notable that young participants from the government's Young Khatib training program have been leading the prayers as imams. Accordingly, the Eid prayer congregation in Hulu Malé Phase 2 was led by young Khatib Al-Hafiz Muhammad Hanoon Hussain.
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz says the renewed bonds of unity during Eid serves as a strong force in sustaining peace and harmony across the country.
In his address to the nation on the occasion of Eid al-Adha, the President expressed profound gratitude to Almighty Allah for bestowing the blessed occasion and extended warm Eid greetings and best wishes to all Maldivians. He urged the public to uphold Islamic values during their celebrations and festivities and to refrain from practices that conflict with traditional Maldivian values and customs. The President further emphasized the core values Eid imparts, including instilling exemplary moral values in the youth and finding personal fulfillment in bringing joy to the vulnerable and lonely members of society. He noted that the bonds of unity revitalized during Eid are a driving force for sustaining peace and harmony across the nation. He added that adorning oneself with a pure garment of piety and renewing one's determination to uphold the religion and the true path reflects the true essence of Eid. The President highlighted that Eid al-Adha stands as an enduring testament to compassion, uniting the entire Muslim Ummah throughout the profound lessons and wisdoms ordained by Almighty Allah. He also reflected on how the joy that begins with the equality of the sacred plains of Arafat and spreads in every direction is one of the brightest symbols of human compassion. The President noted that the slaughtering of Udhiyah, exchanging gifts and assistance provided to the poor help improve the social fabric of society and renew the courage to move forward as a strong community. He added that Eid is the season of forgiveness that brings life to hearts.
Vice President Hussein Mohammed Latif has called for the renewal of unity and solidarity that existed in the past as the nation celebrates Eid al-Adha. In a social media post shared on the occasion of the blessed Eid al-Adha, Vice President Hussein Mohammed Latif extended Eid greetings and warm wishes to all Maldivians. In his Eid message, the Vice President stated that the valuable lessons gained from the sacred holidays of Hajj should inspire people to become a more united and stronger community during Eid al-Adha. He also expressed the importance of reviving the spirit of unity and harmony that existed in earlier times. In addition, he encouraged people to wish each other well and to greet one another with Islamic salutations of peace and goodwill. The Vice President noted that, as elders used to say, unity is a powerful strength. Eid al-Adha is one of the two major Eids celebrated by Muslims and is observed following the completion of the Hajj pilgrimage. Every year during Eid al-Adha, many people travel between islands to take part in and watch Eid celebrations. These occasions are among the strongest displays of social unity within island communities. This year's Eid activities have also been celebrated across the islands in different ways and on varying scales. Preparations for these festivities will begin well in advance, and many islands are now working to ensure that celebrations are conducted in line with Islamic principles.
Numerous activities have once again been organized across the islands to mark Eid al-Adha. From the northernmost atolls to the south, celebrations are spread across several days. The festivities begin differently from island to island, but in general they include both traditional cultural games and modern forms of entertainment. Despite changing times, the colors and identity of Maldivian culture remain visible within Eid celebrations. Modern additions continue to evolve alongside long-standing traditions. Historically, Eid celebrations across the Maldives were also prepared well ahead of time. Eid festivities traditionally began around sunset on the day of Arafat. The commencement of celebrations would be announced through drumming and the lighting of Eid fires or Eid torches. Even today, some of these cultural practices continue. On Eid morning after the Eid prayer, communal Eid breakfasts are held on many islands. Similar to Malé, Eid prayers are now commonly performed in large congregations across the islands. Following the prayer, communities gather to share meals prepared collectively. Among the most prominent features of Eid celebration are traditional cultural performances and games. These include activities such as Ko Dikendung, cutting ceremonial coconuts, Bodu Baru performances, Mahali Neshung, and Bandia Jehung, all of which showcase the richness of Maldivian heritage. Although times have changed, preserving these traditions remains an important responsibility in maintaining cultural identity. In earlier times, the festive spirit of Eid was largely reflected through cultural activities. However, in recent years, influences from foreign cultures have also entered some Eid celebrations. As a result, practices that are inconsistent with Islamic values have occasionally appeared during the observance of this important religious occasion. Nevertheless, Maldivians are a people who continuously learn and seek improvement. With guidance from Islamic scholars, efforts are increasingly being made to distance Eid celebrations from inappropriate foreign influence and instead prioritizing Islamic values and symbols. Takbir parades, religious recitations, and Islamic competitions now add greater meaning to Eid festivities. Island councils, when announcing Eid programs, are also giving more attention to ensuring celebrations remain within acceptable social and religious boundaries. Religious scholars have noted these positive developments. Alongside traditional cultural activities, modern changes have also introduced stage performances and evening programs for children across many islands. Competitive games and entertainment activities bring joy to entire communities. During the organization of such programs, increasing attention is also being given to maintaining proper gender boundaries and conduct. This year as well, islands across the Maldives from north to south are organizing carefully planned celebrations. Island communities, councils, groups, organizations, and residents are all working together to decorate their islands and hold inclusive festivities. While the busy streets of Malé may appear relatively quiet during Eid, the vibrant atmosphere on the island highlights the true festive spirit of Eid in the Maldives.
Chief Government Spokesperson Mohammed Hussein Sharif says the Maldives could double its fish exports to the United Kingdom or UK due to the UK's tariff suspension on the Maldives fish products.
The spokesperson made the remarks while speaking at the latest session of the Presser with the Spoke series. The Maldives currently exports around 17 million UK pounds worth of fish annually in the UK. According to the spokesperson, 90% of the Maldives' exports to the UK are fish products. While the UK has temporarily suspended tariffs on Maldivian fish for 2 years, the move is expected to bring significant benefits, including paving the way to double exports to the UK. The spokesperson expressed confidence that the tariff relief could increase market share. The Maldives' main exports to the UK include canned tuna and value-added tuna products. He noted that Maldivian fisheries are sustainable and that the country's products are globally accepted, including in the UK market. The Maldives currently ranks 9th in the UK tuna market, and there is confidence that exports can be doubled within about 2.5 years. The Maldives previously enjoyed tariff-free fish exports to the UK, but lost this advantage around 2012 as trade preferences such as the GSP Plus were reduced or removed. Brexit and WTO-based changes also contributed to higher tariff at a time when several private companies were active in the sector. The spokesperson said with the suspension of tariffs, these businesses are expected to expand again. While the tariff suspension is set to expire at the end of 2028, the government is seeking to make the arrangement permanent and plans further discussions with the UK to achieve this.
According to the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises, the Maldives Sovereign Development Fund, or SDF, has accumulated $59.86 million in the first 5.5 months of 2026, representing an 18% increase compared to the same period last year.
The ministry announced the figures in its latest weekly fiscal development report, revealing that the fund received $50.32 million during the equivalent period in 2025. This growth in the sovereign fund coincides with a substantial increase in the government's debt repayment obligations, which have surged by 244% year-over-year. The government has expended $557.85 million on loan repayments so far this year, compared to $162.13 million during the same period last year. Around $1 billion in debt obligation has been paid out at various intervals throughout the year, comprising a $500 million sukuk issued in 2021 and a $400 million currency swap facility established during President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's first visit to India in 2024. Both debt instruments were serviced through the Sovereign Development Fund and official reserves. The Sovereign Development Fund was established in 2016 as a government-controlled mechanism to repay substantial loan undertaken for emergencies and development projects, as well as to mitigate economic shocks. This fund operates distinctly from the reserves maintained by the Maldives Monetary Authority (MMA). The SDF generates revenue from three primary sources: airport development fees levied on departures, dividends paid by the Maldives Airports Company Limited, which operates Velana International Airport, and enhanced fees for certain airport services.
Insights into business. South Korea's benchmark Kospi stock index hits an all-time high as SK Hynix topped $1 trillion in market value for the first time, joining its memory chip rival Samsung Electronics and Micron Technology in reaching the milestone on an AI-driven rally.
The Kospi rose as much as 5.09% to 8,457.09, its highest on record, with the sharp gains triggering a sidecar curve that temporarily halted algorithmic trading. Shares of SK Hynix jumped as much as 14.9%, taking the South Korean chipmaker's market value to a record 1,680 trillion won. Strong demand for high-end memory chips used in AI chipsets like those designed by NVIDIA has tightened supply and driven up prices, benefiting the world's biggest makers of the semiconductors. Samsung Electronics surpassed $1 trillion in market value for the first time on the 6th of May, while US-listed Micron Technology did so on last week. There are only 3 Asian companies that have joined the $1 trillion club, including TSMC. South Korea has become the first country other than the US to have more than one company to reach that market value. With Wednesday's rally, Samsung and SK Hynix accounted for half of the index by market capitalization. The Kospi, which has emerged as the world's best performer in a global AI boom, has risen 91% so far this year after rising 76% last year.
Updates on world affairs. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian hails the Iranian military's defensive capabilities after the U.S. conducted what it called defensive strikes in southern Iran.
Iran's foreign ministry said U.S. strikes in Iran's southwest Hormozgan province, where Iranian media reported sounds of explosion early on Tuesday, represented a gross violation of a 10-year ceasefire in place for nearly 7 weeks. Both sides have indicated progress on a memorandum of understanding that could halt the war and restart shipping through the blockaded Strait of Hormuz, while giving negotiators 60 days to negotiate more complex issues, including Iran's nuclear program. Following strikes against targets that the U.S. said included boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters on his plane in India's Jaipur that the Strait of Hormuz had to be opened one way or the other. The war, which began with U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran on the February 28th, has caused an unprecedented oil supply shock, pushing up oil prices along with the cost of fuel, fertilizer, and food. Iran responded to the strikes by launching drones and missiles at Gulf states that hosted U.S. bases.
Russia's UN ambassador says that the U.S. did not grant a visa for Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Alexander Alimov to attend a UN Security Council meeting and called it a breach of U.S. obligations under the UN headquarters agreement.
Vasily Nebenzia made the comment at a meeting of the 15-member UN Security Council chaired by China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi that he said Alimov had intended to attend. The State Department and the US UN mission did not immediately respond to questions about Nebenzia's statement. Nebenzia said that under the UN headquarters agreement, access to UN headquarters in New York needs to be provided for all officials of member states, barring none. He said Russia also viewed the issue as an egregious instance of disrespect for the Chinese presidency of the Security Council and of the topic that is under discussion, that of the Charter of the United Nations. Nebenzia said the Charter was under serious strain and accused Western-led countries of using double standards to maintain dominance. He said remilitarization in Germany and Japan were dangerous developments that were threats to global security and undoing the results of World War II. Wong said there was a need to reinvigorate the UN Charter amid rising global instability and conflict, warning that a giant ship of global civilization is sailing into dangerous waters. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres told the meeting the world now faced the highest number of conflicts since the founding of the United Nations at the end of World War II and new and uncharted risks to peace and security.
Deputy UN spokesman Farhan Haq announces that WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus would be traveling to the Democratic Republic of Congo today.
Haq noted that Dr. Ghebreyesus shared on social media that WHO and 55 humanitarian partners are present across the affected areas, providing essential health services, including treatment for acute malnutrition.
We have an update on the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. According to WHO, there are more than 900 suspected cases and 220 suspected deaths linked to Ebola in the DRC. The head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, announced that he would be traveling to the country today. In a social media post, he said WHO and 55 humanitarian partners are present across the affected areas, providing essential health services, including treatment for acute malnutrition.
He added that the WHO chief also expressed concern in the post, stating that their work continues to be impeded by violence and limited access to some of the hardest to reach communities. Ebola spreads through direct contact with the bodily fluids of infected people, contaminated materials, and the bodies of those who have died from the illness, making unsafe burials a potential source of virus transmission.
Moving on to sports, two-time Ballon d'Or winner Alexia Putellas will leave Barcelona after 14 seasons at her childhood club, the Spanish side announces, with 32-year-old departing as a free agent when her contract expires.
The midfielder's decision comes after she helped Barcelona beat Olympique Lyonnais 4-0 on Saturday to secure a fourth European crown for herself and the club, signing off from the competition with another commanding campaign in which she was named the best player in this season's Women's Champions League. Competing in her sixth Champions League final in a row for the Catalan side, Putellas was central to a Barcelona team that scored 4 times in the second half to beat Lyon, the competition's most successful club, with 8 titles. The Spanish international had appeared emotional in recent matches and public appearances, but delayed making her decision public so as not to interfere with Barcelona's preparation for the final or the celebrations that followed. After months of reflection, and with the immediate celebration now over, Putellas has decided the time has come to move on.
Freddie Freeman hits a go-ahead double in a 4-run 7th inning, and the Los Angeles Dodgers rallied for a 5-3 victory over the visiting Colorado Rockies to open a 3-game series.
Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Andy Pages also recorded RBIs in the 7th as the Dodgers returned home following a 7-2 road trip. Los Angeles right-hander Emmett Sheehan gave up 2 runs over 6 innings, and Kyle Hurt gave up a run as the bullpen's franchise-recording 38 scoreless streak came to an end. Hurt still ended up with his first career win, and Blake Treinen got the last out for his first save of the season. Ezequiel Tovo hit a solo home run and had 2 RBIs for the Rockies, while Tanner Gordon threw 5 innings of 1-run ball in his first start of the season. Willie Castro added an RBI single as he and Tovo had 2 hits apiece for Colorado, which lost for the 6th time in the past 7 games. The Dodgers took a 1-0 lead in the 3rd inning when Hyosung Kim led off with a single and scored on a double from Enrique Hernandez in his first at-bat of the season. Hernandez returned from off-season elbow surgery. The Rockies jumped in front with a 2-run 4th inning. Tyler Freeman led off with a ground rule double. Johnston followed with a line drive single off the back of Sheehan's right arm. Sheehan remained in the game. Castro followed with an RBI single to right field, and Tovo added a sacrifice fly for a 2-1 advantage. Gordon held the Dodgers offense in check, and Tovo extended the Rockies' lead to 3-1 with a home run while leading off the 7th inning. The last time the Dodgers bullpen had given up a run was 12th May against the San Francisco Giants. The first 3 Dodgers batters reached base in the 7th on 2 walks and a hit batter before Ohtani grounded into a force-out for a run. Betts' sacrifice fly leveled the score, and Freddie Freeman's double gave the Dodgers the 4-3 lead before Pages delivered an RBI single. Rockies relievers Joan Mejia and Brennan Bernardino each were charged with 2 runs in the 7th.
To conclude, we take a look at news and lifestyle. Visitors to an exhibition dedicated to Mexican artist Frida Kahlo in Athens steps inside the painter's world through virtual reality, wall-to-wall projections, and interactive installations that bring her work and life beyond the canvas.
Visitors are surrounded as a 30-minute audio-visual production unfolds across 600 square meters of screen while they move through installations inspired by Mexican culture and Kahlo's personal story, including an altar dedicated to the Day of the Dead tradition and a recreation of the tavern where she once taught painting. Through 3-dimensional digital projections, the exhibition also recreates the 1925 bus accident that left Kahlo, then 18, with lifelong injuries and chronic pain, an event widely seen as shaping much of her artistic expression. It also includes replicas of Kahlo's vibrant and iconic Mexican embroidered floral dresses she was known for. Famous for her self-portraits exploring identity, pain, and Mexican culture, Kahlo died in 1954 but remains one of the most influential and commercially recognizable artists in the world.
And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.